Hello, and welcome back to another episode for Project Seed Money. My name is Sharissa Bradley, and I am so excited to be joined today with my friend and author, Pamela Buehl. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm so excited to spend some time with you like this.
Yeah, thank you, Sharissa. I'm happy to be here.
Amazing. Well, I love your story of how you became an author, and I happen to know it because I know you personally. But do you mind sharing the journey of when you got started and then the process of publishing your first book?
Yes. So I really feel like I've been a writer since I was a little girl, probably second, third grade. But I had a grandmother, we called her Nana, and she and I became pen pals. And she was a wonderful writer, and I loved writing to her, but she also was a poet. And so I really wanted to be a poet also. And that's really where it started. And she would send me poems, and I would write her poems and send them to her. Not too long ago, I did a little self published book. I'll just show you the cover of it. But it's a compilation of poetry that she wrote and poetry that I wrote. So if she wrote about a rose, I wrote a poem about a rose. So poetry has always been my kind of my go-to, but I also was a play writer when I was a kid, and a friend of mine would actually write plays together, and we would practice them, and then we'd gather all the kids around and perform the plays for them. So that was another avenue, and fairly recently retired elementary school teacher. So writing has always been a part of my life.
That's amazing. So what inspired you to write your children's book that
My
you
little
have?
children's book. Well, a lot of it was having kids of my own, but also being an elementary school teacher. It was kind of on my bucket list when I retired from teaching. So I sat down. It took me an entire year to do the poems, and here's my little cover. It's different poems from this is the month of April. So there's two poems from every month of the year. And I did all the illustrations, and I don't consider myself an artist per se, but it was really fun doing all the illustrations. They're all out of construction paper. And once I got it done, I decided to go the self-publishing route because I didn't really know what to do with it at that point. So I learned a lot about that. It's a great avenue for getting started with publishing. And it just felt really good. Took a year to complete it. And now I have it and I sell it and give it away to friends who have babies. And
I love that.
yeah.
While you were going through that process of the 1 year to write the poems and to illustrate it and then put it together and then go through the self-publishing process, did you face any insecurity or self-doubt, or were you worried about what that was going to look like after you published? Like, did you face
Yeah.
any of that?
I did. Initially, I was just excited about it. So I was working on it. And the poetry, of course, was the easy part. But I was a little self conscious about the illustrations. But I kind of hit a point at some point in the process of this is for children and share your joy for writing and for reading and for fun. So I felt pretty good when I was done. I mean, it felt wonderful to hold the book in my hand for the first time. I didn't really have a goal of like, I want to sell a million copies or anything. It was just like, I wanted to share. I wanted to share it. I've given it to some teachers. I've given it to friends who've had kids or grandkids. And it's kind of a nice piece of my heart to be able to share with people. But part of the reason I kind of went that self publishing was I didn't want to delve any deeper than that at first. It was a little scary, but I got my confidence up and, working with you and actually becoming a published author with other writings, it's kind of increased my confidence, but I'll always be proud of this book.
Oh, absolutely, as you should be. Did you have people who were supporting you as you were writing that book, like giving you a little bit of a boost or confidence along the way?
When I was writing it, it was before I had met you, before I had become, I'm involved in a couple different writing groups. So it kind of was on me a little bit, but it also was kind of a nice journey of just working on it. It was kind of my special thing until it got a little closer. And then I shared it with people like, what do you think? But it was just kind of my little thing at first. And then I shared it with people after that.
Oh, I think that's so cool. I absolutely love that. So do you have plans to continue writing in the future?
I do. It's kind of interesting because that was the one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to do a children's poetry book, and it's like, okay, I did that. So what's the next goal? I don't have a clear like I'm definitely going to do another poetry book. I've kind of moved a little bit more into the nonfiction realm and working with you with Publications and just the power of writing about experiences that I've had personally and sharing that with other women, both to support people, but also to get support. Joining a writing community has really inspired me to continue writing. And, there is maybe a memoir out there. I'm sort of playing around with that and writing parts of that. So I think that will probably happen at some point. But who knows? There might be another poetry book too.
Do you feel you faced more vulnerability when you were writing more about yourself and your own stories? Like, were there challenges there with vulnerability?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you and I know each other personally, but the shift for me from working full time to becoming a retired person was really a challenging part of my life. So I think that's kind of why I went back to writing because it's very healing to me to write about it. Like I was saying, the memoir of really challenging time in my life is something I've started and stopped a lot of times, many times, but just kind of being a little more comfortable with it's okay to write about that. It's okay to write about difficult things because people need to hear that, I think. I don't think I believed that before, but listening to people, reading what people are sharing, there are people out there that need to hear what you have to say. I really believe that now. So that's kind of helped with my confidence of even if it's challenging to write, it's probably a good thing to do, even if it's just for you personally to help heal through things that you've been through. But there's a lot of support out there too, which I'm finding as I'm getting a little more serious about my writing, that you can reach out to people. There'll be people there to help you along the way. And I think that's important. I think we as women need to really tell our stories and share our stories with each other. I don't know. I just think it's important. And that's kind of as I've gotten older, that's more knowledgeable. I didn't necessarily feel like that. Oh, nobody's going to want to read my story. Why is that important? But somebody will. It'll be important to somebody.
I couldn't agree more. And I love the opportunity that an anthology provides because we don't have to write the whole entire thing. If you're submitting like a short story or an essay to these like anthology type magazines, like Pamela mentioned, Publication, we do this one every year and it's a collection of women's stories. And that becomes a really beautiful, safe, and hopefully place to share bits and pieces without having to have the confidence to fully write your whole story yet.
But maybe it'll be the starting point for some people. One thing it did help me in both joining writing communities, because I've joined one locally also, is like I said at the beginning, I always just wrote poetry.
Yeah.
Little stories here and there, but poetry is kind of like my safety net. So getting out there and actually writing stories about things that have happened was kind of stepping outside of the box for me. But I think it's really helpful to do that. But also writing communities, even if it's just doing some fun things or having prompts to try other kinds of writings. Because I didn't think that I would ever actually write a memoir, but now it's something I'm seriously considering. So, just joining in community, even if you don't feel like you want to publish something, but you just want to become a better writer, find some community out there and just write.
Couldn't agree more. I absolutely love the act of writing just for the sake of it. And even if it's just for fun or for processing, being in community, we know like research has shown us that writing accesses a completely different area of our brain than when we're just
Mhm.
speaking. So when we get the opportunity to kind of let that brain flow happen in written form,
Right.
it is healing.
It's very healing. And somebody asked me not too long ago, a good friend of mine who knows me, she's like, "Do you write every day?" And I said, "Yes, but it doesn't mean I sit and write for an hour. It may only be 10 minutes one day, and I might not get back to it till the next day, but I just make sure that I write something every day."
Mm, that's so good. And that's such good advice because we know that when we do something consistently, it's easier for us to get into the habit of it and in the pattern of it and in the flow
Mhm.
state of it.
Yeah.
You've given us so much value already in the last like 5 minutes. I feel like you've shared all of these little wise moments. So it almost feels redundant for me to ask, but I'm going to ask anyways. If you could please share one more piece of advice with our female authors who are on the fence and they want to take that step, but maybe they're scared and maybe there's even a middle ground for them. But
Mhm.
is there anything you can share with them to just help inspire them?
Yeah. I think it's okay to have the self-doubt. It is. But get in that habit of writing something every day, even if you're really busy. It's okay to write something every day, but to understand that whatever you do write, it's going to be valuable. It is. Even if you don't know the perfect grammar. I mean, I was a teacher. I don't know every single piece of grammar, but it's about the words. So get the words down first. And then if you want to take it further than that, then you can get advice from people that can help you edit or can help you take that next step. Just write it, put it down on paper, and then you can go from there if you want to take it further.
Thank you so much, Pamela. That was
You're welcome.
so beautiful, and you've been so encouraging. And I just know that my audience is going to be so inspired by you.
Hope
Can you?
so.
I hope so too. Can you please share how they can get a hold of your book?
Yes, it's available a couple different places. It is on Amazon, which is exciting, but I like people to order it through me. And my Instagram is Buell Pamela. I don't know if you can put that somewhere because I like to sign it. So, especially if it's somebody you'd like to purchase it for, and it's $25 plus shipping. And that's something you learn about when you're self publishing. You pay for the book, but that's okay.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you for spending time with us. I will have the link to your Instagram down in the
Okay.
description so everybody can easily get that. And I just really appreciate you spending time with me today. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me on another episode for Project Seed Money. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And I will see you with another interview next week. Bye.